Hey guys, what's your favorite holiday? Come on, you can admit it. It's just like me. It's 4th of July, and you know why? Because you get to blow stuff up. All right, y'all, this is the kind of video I love doing. And it's not necessarily a review, but it's a review to find out whether or not the people that sent me this solar generator are legit. Now, this is the Opus Mega 5 power station, okay? And these folks sent it to me and they said, hey, we want you to test it. We know you're a journeyman electrician with a lot of experience. Go ahead and give it the old college try, as they say. And the first thing I did when I got it back was go ahead, as soon as I got a chance to unbox it, which was about almost 2 weeks ago, first thing I did is want to charge it. This thing came with about if I remember right, I think there was about a 70% charge already on it. So I went ahead and charged it all the way up with AC, alternating current. When I did that, I wanted to see just on the state of it, before I even started testing things, is this thing going to hold a charge? And it did. So, and I think after that long, it may have been down to 99% after about 2 weeks. So that's also a good thing. This thing has a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is pretty much the standard for these things these days. I can go ahead and get into all the heady stuff. I'm just going to give you the high points. Okay, it's rated right here for 4,000 watts. That's pretty doggone respectable, even if you have a regular gasoline generator. A lot of them standard are about 5,000 watts, but 4,000, that's what you're telling me this thing has? And then it has a surge up to 7,000. We're going to see if they're legit on that. If you just plug it into the AC outlet, it's going to take almost 3 hours, about 2.8 hours for it to charge up. And then here's the cool thing about it. It can actually charge in tandem with your solar setup, which, by the way, I tried with another solar array with an Anderson connector to see if it would even accept a solar charge, and it does. But check this out. In just over an hour, if you combine your solar array with the AC, it will actually charge this thing in just over an hour, which is pretty doggone unbelievable. You can double the capacity with an extra battery, which they sell. And typically with these kinds of batteries and with this kind of technology, it's not necessarily going to be cheap. This is basically all the ways to output this thing for the most part, notwithstanding what they got here on the side, which is an EV charger. They got 20 amp circuits all the way down here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we got a 30 amp over here, cigarette lighter, and then all the other stuff to charge your phone and your other devices. Okay, if we come over here on the side, we basically got 6 ways to recharge this thing. And like I said, it's pretty ingenious. You can even charge this thing up with an EV. So it's got the cigarette lighter charger. It's got the AC/solar. We got the generator, which it can basically be charged that way. And then also the EV charger, which honestly, I've never seen that in another device like this. So that's a pretty impressive development. Now, for those of you that are so inclined, you can link your phone up to this thing. Okay, so you can do it through Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, the whole 9 yards. It basically has all the bells and whistles. So let me get into the downside of some of this. Right off the bat, this thing is about 112 pounds, so you got to kind of deadlift it. But they make it really, really easy. Let me shut this up in the back here, and I'll show you how. It's pretty easy when you stop to consider. You can put it on its side. It has little things on the end of it. And then check this out. Bam, just like that, hopping and popping. So and it has handles on the end, so where it can be a 2-person carry to stick it in the back of your truck if you had to bug out, or maybe you're going to take it on a camping trip. It's also a pure sine wave, which is also pretty doggone awesome. Look, you didn't tune into this video to watch me talk about all the bells and whistles. I can get as heady as you want with this stuff because this is electricity. This is a language I speak. You didn't tune in for that. We're going to find out whether or not this thing is get they say it is. So let's start hopping and popping. We ain't playing around. And like I said, if I blow this thing up, that's what you get for sending it to me. I'm going to beat the brakes off this thing. So it looks like it's Opus, but it's Opus, as I understand it. So to turn this thing on, it's as simply as hold it down like that. Well, let's see where we are. Okay, we're about 85%. Truth is, y'all, I did this video yesterday. I did a version of it yesterday. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't a good video. So I'm redoing it today, but I'm going to make it even worse because I'm going to see just what it takes to blow this thing up. 20 amps all the way around. So we're going to start off just real basic. Here we got this jigsaw, which is 3.2 amps. you got to also push the button for AC and DC. So let me go ahead and push this AC button. All right, this is 3 amps. You know, nowhere near the capacity on this thing. So let's go ahead and try something that I know is 13 amps. Whenever you have something that has a motor in it, it's generally going to run at 125% of its rating on startup. So let's just go ahead. Okay, got that hopping. This here, look y'all, forget a bunch of this stuff, man. We got 5 outlets here, and I'm gonna plug this thing all the way up. Forget the piece by piece stuff. Nobody tuned in for that. You wanna see me try to put this thing to the test. This thing, this heat gun, when I got it full blast, we're pulling somewhere, yep, 12.5 amps, same as this little space heater. So we're gonna plug it in. And then, what do we got right here? So we got a jigsaw. We got this, another 12.5 amps. I already looked. And then we got this over here. And the name plate on this is 7 amps. You add everything I'm going to be putting on this thing, we're talking 48 amps. Y'all, that's pretty doggone respectable. Let's just go ahead and start it up one by one. We'll start with the heat gun because it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. It's on high, as you can tell. We're gonna let it go for a second. And we're talking 570 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty doggone hot. Okay, here's another giant resistor. We're gonna put this on high. And we got it going. You can see the fan maybe inside there. We're gonna turn on, well, you're not gonna hear me after this. You're not even gonna hear me after any of this. So I'm gonna turn this on, and this on, and see if we can beat the brakes off this thing. Well, heavens to Murgatroyd, we're pulling nearly, and I guarantee you this thing was well over 50 amps as I'm doing startup on all this stuff, and it's maintaining it. At that rate, it was telling me that at 50 amps on an 83% charge, it was going to go for an hour. Let me tell you where this is a massive blessing to me, is that as you can see, I live in the boondocks, and I don't have power everywhere. And to drag cords all over this acreage, I got a problem with a phenomenon called voltage drop. You can only stretch out so many cords before you start tripping breakers when you turn on anything. You've seen me before. I've taken pumps and I've had to run them all over this place, but I've been limited because the problem is I got to sit here and drag a giant generator, gasoline generator, all over this property to be able to do what I need to do in the places where I need to do it. Now, what are the downsides to this? Well, it's 112 pounds. So, yeah, that might be a drawback for people that aren't so inclined. The wheels definitely help. But if you had to get on the first thing smoking and bug out, okay, well, this is the one for you. I really like the fact, now, I'm never going to hook my phone up to something like this, but it's awesome that you're able to do that. Even if you're in another place, like let's say another country, where you may be operating on the United States and stuff in Canada, we're going to be running on 60 cycles per second or 60 hertz. A lot of other countries, most other countries are operating on 50 cycles per second. So you can change all that even with your phone app. Up until a few months ago, I was not a fan of any of these solar generators. We do, in fact, live in a very precarious world where things can happen at any time. Do you think if you ever had to send off a dual fuel generator, either running on propane or running on gasoline, or even diesel for that matter, do you think people might hear that? What I love about this thing is that you have this tiny little fan that I can barely hear in close proximity, and that's all you got. You can also charge it up, like I said, with a solar array, which I've already done, or you can do it in tandem with your AC and charge this bad boy in under an hour. And let's think about this reasonably. Are you ever, in any particular circumstance you can think of, are you ever going to be using 50 amps all at the same time? If you are, well, I highly advise you to rethink your preparedness. Okay, here's one of the downsides. There are critical items on your homestead that run on 240 volts, not the least of which being almost certainly your well pump. That's probably running on 240. So I would strongly ask these folks to consider a way to put this in tandem with, I don't know, another unit or whatever the case may be to get 240 volts out of this. As far as downside, I don't see one. And I love the fact that if you're out and about and you're on the road, you could easily charge this thing. I mean, it's got the RV set up right here. You could easily charge this thing at one of those stations for a Tesla. I haven't seen that in any other unit, so that's a real big win too. Up one side, down the other, y'all. Pretty doggone impressed. I haven't done any long-term tests on it, but the fact that you're dealing with batteries that are lithium iron phosphate batteries tells me that it can be charged and discharged unbelievable numbers of time and still maintain most of its oomph. That's a winner. No complaints here. All right, y'all, if you want to reach out to them, I don't have a discount code or anything like that. They just asked me to test it and beat it up as much as I could, and I did it. All right, y'all, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.